Okay. Yay. All right. So welcome everybody. Thank you again for being here. This is the liaison orientation for this fiscal year. The mission of Youth on Their Own is to support the high school graduation and continued success of youth experiencing homelessness. And that's just the mission here at YOTO. And we're very grateful for you all to be helping us achieve this mission. Okay, so we're going to start off with enrollment. So for youth to be eligible for our program, youth must be enrolled in 6th to 12th grade, working towards a high school diploma. The school has to have a brick and mortar. So we do work with some online schools, for example, Tuva, but Tuva has a physical location where youth can go and pick up their items from the mini mall, and it has a liaison that we can connect with. Another component is that youth must be on their own through no choice of their own. And like I said, the school has to have a physical campus in Pima County. The process for youth to enroll into our program is that the youth completes an application, and this is just a screenshot of what it looks like on the student's cell phone. So they would go to yotoaz.org and they would fill out an application, they'd create an account. And after the youth finishes their application, the program coordinators get notified that they completed that application. And once that happens, we will review it for YOTO criteria. If the youth gets approved, it'll go over to the liaison, and then you do your section. And that's where on the application, it will ask you if the youth is enrolled, if the youth is in McKinney-Vento, if there's any other information that the program coordinator needs to know. And once the liaison approves that the school is enrolled in their school and such, then it comes back to YOTO for the final review, and the youth is fully enrolled in YOTO. All right. So there are several service types, and this is how we categorize our youth. So the services are based on the highest level of housing instability that the youth is experiencing upon enrollment. So we catch this through their application. So it's like a real-time application, what's happening at that moment. So there are two categories. There's general enrollment and there's standard enrollment. For general enrollment, there is max and plus youth. And for standard enrollment, there is stably housed youth and foster care youth. So youth in the max enrollment who are in this general service type would be youth who are experiencing literal homelessness, HUD 1, imminent risk of homelessness, HUD 2, and then McKinney-Vento, HUD 3. And then YOTO has their own definitions as well. So it would be YOTO couch hopping. And then another one would be living in a housing program like transitional housing. The youth in the plus category are using YOTO definitions of self-supporting, living with others, or self-supporting living in their own apartment. For youth in our standard category, these are youth who are stably housed. They can be living with relatives or others. They can stay as long as they need, and they don't really need to contribute anything to the household where they're staying in. This does include our McKinney-Vento doubling up youth. That is a change from last year. These youth in the stably housed category are at no imminent risk of homelessness, and their basic needs are not met, or they are responsible for meeting their own basic needs. And then the last one is for youth who are in foster care. So these youth are in DCS custody. Their caseworker determines if the youth would benefit from YOTO services. So here we actually have a contact at DCS, and we reach out to him for every youth who says they are in foster care. And we need that recommendation from them in order to be able to enroll the youth into our program. If we don't get that recommendation from DCS, then we cannot enroll this youth into YOTO. And then any youth who is in temporary placement, so usually like Reunion House, they would be eligible under this foster care, or in an unlicensed kinship placement. But like I said, all these youth have to go through our contact at DCS in order for us to be able to approve them. All right, so some of the changes with our service tiers are that youth who are McKinney-Vento doubling up situations, we realize are similar to youth who are in the stably housed. So we have moved those youth to the stably housed enrollment type. And then returning youth who are meeting their own basic needs because of YOTO. Also, that's another question that we added onto the application. And then now youth who were placed in foster care through ORR or the Office of Refugee Resettlement, we have a few schools that work with those youth. They are no longer eligible for YOTO services. Oops. Okay. So this is kind of just a guideline chart that we are going off of to place youth in their service type. So here we see couch hopping, McKinney-Vento doubling up, self-supporting. So all along here, this is how we would place them in enrollment, and we would do the best fit. So wherever the youth best fits in their situation, this is where we would put them. So down here you see max, standard, plus, etc. All right, I see some stuff in the chat. Let me check. Okay, I think we're good. All right, is there any questions about any of that before we move on to our next section? Feel free to put it in the chat as well. All right, so we're gonna move on to our academic stipend, so I'll pass it on to Javier.
Thank you, Jessica. Hi, guys. Let's talk about the academic stipend. All right, so the academic stipend is similar to last year, right? It is throughout the school year, which is from August through May, and while the kids are attending school. Okay, on the screen, you guys can see how each attendance rate is calculated, and it goes by tier. So for example, platinum would be missing no more than 3 days. So that would count for the full stipend, 45 days a week and earning, so it's basically 45 days a week of attendance, which is about 85% to 100%. Max youth would be eligible for $350, plus youth $300, and standard youth $100. The gold would be if they're missing no more than 46 days. So that's about 70 to 84% attendance rate. Max youth would get $150 and so forth, right? And then copper, that's if the youth is missing 7 to 8 days, 60% to 69%. And as you guys can see, the academic stipend amount goes down a lot. And then what we want is for the students to be attending classes, right? So they can earn that stipend and also help them, graduate. So that's kind of our mission here. And, we try to do everything we can to help the students attend classes and stuff like that. So please let us know if there's anything or any way we can help with that process. All right, and here's another look at it. So YOTO works with each school to determine appropriate payment to each student. So as you guys know, each school is different, each district is different, depending whether it's by periods, whether it's by time in class, things like that. So here's just some graphs showing basically if it's based off hours or class progress, or how many classes the youth is taking. That's how it would be calculated. So this might have to do with your school or not, right? It really just depends on what school you're at. But that's how those rates are determined right there, guys. Okay, how do youth request a stipend? So in the near future, stipend requests will be completed in the YOTO portal. We want everything to be through the portal eventually, but we're still working on it. So for now, youth will receive an email with the link, kind of like we did last year. They will fill out they will click on that link. That'll take them to the stipend form where they will request a stipend. We ask that they do this at the beginning of each month from the 1st through the 7th. How do liaisons confirm enrollment and attendance? Youth will receive an email reminder from data team. Look for list of active youth in the YOTO portal. You have until the 7th of each month to submit official attendance reports. So just like the youth have to submit their stipend request from the 1st through the 7th, same for the liaisons, for you guys to send us the attendance reports. Okay, so coming soon, the stipend integration project. We will reach out to several schools to pilot our new feature in the portal, late fall, early winter. Process will be completely in the portal. It's gonna be a soft, basically, opening with this. Eventually, we would like every school to be able to import their attendance into the portal. But for now, we're gonna start with some select schools. We'll be reaching out to some of you and seeing, how it'll work best. So we're kind of excited for it, but we'll let you know. So we're still working on it. But yeah. right. So how do youth get paid? So YOTO prepaid MasterCards, right? Some of the youth have MasterCards. So the money gets deposited directly onto the youth's card. Only youth who are 16 or older receive the MasterCard. Once youth is enrolled or once youth turns 16, YOTO orders the card and it usually takes about 10 days, 10 business days for the card to be received. And then our volunteers will deliver the card to the school. Was that where you want to talk about the?
Okay, today I'm going to talk about special payments.
Sorry,
Under
I was having technical difficulties. So this year, our data team, they're the ones who process the stipends, so they are going green. So in the past, the liaisons would get like a manila folder with all of the MasterCards and anything from YOTO to the schools would go there. But now they gave me one of these to show you all. It's like a plastic folder. And so this is reusable. And so this is now what's going to be going to the schools via our caring couriers. It still has a slip that we need you all to sign for us and bring back. But this folder is going to it's going to have all the MasterCards and any information that we give to you all. You are going to keep this for a week, and then the caring courier will bring it back the following week when they do other deliveries. If you have any MasterCards that youth haven't picked up, or if you have anything that's from YOTO that the student didn't get, you can put it back in here and the carrier will bring it back to YOTO. We do know that sometimes there are youth who never pick up their MasterCard, or maybe they dropped from the school or whatever it is, and you are still holding on to it. You can put it back in here and then we'll receive it the following week. So this is one of our new updates. We're going green. So we're excited to try this out. Give us your feedback if you like it, if you don't like it, whatever it is, just give us your feedback and let us know what you think about it. This is going to be starting once our stipend round comes out. Right, so our next section is special payments.
Okay, so under special payments, we have task incentive payment for $100 that youth can complete during the school year. And in order for them to earn this payment, they will have to complete 4 easy tasks. And one of them is to complete an orientation online or in person, introduce themselves to their PC by phone, text, email, or in person, upload a picture ID for their YOTO, a picture for their YOTO ID for this school year, and submit a minimal order request online. One of the changes that we have this school year is that we're no longer offering the basic needs stipend, and we really want to focus more in our academic stipend.
YOTO Minimal. Okay, so let's talk about the YOTO Minimal. We are located at 2525 North Country Club Road. This is our new location. If you all have not been to the new location, I encourage you to stop by. It is awesome. We are open from Monday through Friday from 11 a.m. to 5 p.m. And what does the Minimal offer? It offers food, hygiene, and school supplies. And weekly, we do get fresh meal kits. So those run by fast, but you have to be in person to get those. They're not ordered through the YOTO portal. If youth cannot come in person, they can also order through the YOTO portal. If youth want to take the buses are 9 and 17. Special services. So special services is we offer Uber, taxi, dental, new home kits, and hair vouchers. So Uber and taxi, so only Max and Plus youth are eligible, only for emergencies like hospital, treatment on youth on site at YOTO, and that's mental health services through the CRC, emergency shelters, YOTO events that youth are being asked to attend by YOTO. And changes to our special services, YOTO is no longer offering the following special services, which are cell phones, bicycles, laptops, and beds.
Okay, so we have a 30-day grace period where we put youth who are in different situations, and one of those situations is if you stop attending school, we put them in a 30-day grace period, and we will reach out to them to help them with any barriers they might have that is keeping them to attend school. The other youth that might be in 30-day grace period is youth that are not engaged in the program, youth who are attending school, but they're not submitting their academic stipend requests for 2 consecutive months. Other youth who are in a 30-day grace periods are youth with a lower than 60% attendance rate that don't qualify for their academic stipend for 2 consecutive months. Youth who also reunify with parents are no longer qualify for YOTO services. We give them those 30 days to transition out of YOTO services and maybe offer them some other community resources in Pima County if they need it. And other youths that might have enrolled in the program that they don't qualify, or youth who were placed in the wrong tier of services. We give them 30 days grace periods. All these youth are still eligible to use the minimal for services, so they can get the basic needs. They also get an emergency taxi services if they need to go to the hospital or if they need to go to an emergency shelter.
All right, thank you, Alma. So now credit information. Program coordinators will ask for credit information to see if the student is on track for graduation. YOTO students confirmed as on track to graduate are eligible for a one-time stipend to cover for graduation costs, primarily for cap and gown fees. Once confirmed, the graduation stipend supplement is added to their services, allowing them to request the cap and gown stipend. Without this tag, the stipend will not appear in the student's YOTO portal account. The graduation stipend is now $100. They combine the senior swag and cap and gown stipend.
Okay, so let's talk a little bit about our services that we offer for graduating seniors. So you can request a one-time payment of $200 for graduating. So after graduation, youth will send us a picture of their diploma, and that is how the payment is requested. So after graduation, we're going to talk a little bit about alumni services because we do still support youth after graduation. Hold on, I see we have a question in the chat. So if a student is initially shown as not on track, but throughout the year becomes on track. Yeah, that's a really good question. So we do ask for credit information several times throughout the year. I believe we ask 3 or 4 times. So if a student is able to catch up and accrue enough credits, at that time, we will add the supplement so that they're able to request their payment. Irene asks, are liaisons allowed to still email a copy of the diploma? I guess I think that's something that we would need to talk about. Like usually the youth are really excited to send us a copy of their diploma and hear from us and get that pat on the back and the way to go. So I know ideally we prefer to communicate with the youth directly, but I think that that's something that we might need to talk about as it gets closer to the end of the school year. So thanks for asking that, Irene. For alumni services, YOTO does offer a scholarship to graduating seniors. Graduating youth can submit an application to receive the YOTO scholarship. It's $1,000 per year for 4 years if they're going to go to a 4-year university, or $5,000. It's a one-time payment for a trade school. We open up the application window from about mid-January, and that application window closes around March. Okay, one other thing that Alumni Services is able to do is offer verification letters to seniors for financial aid, like for their FAFSA. They also send out an alumni newsletter, which is monthly email communication to seniors. Other alumni services, they do like drop-in like FAFSA workshops, mini mall services, workforce readiness, and some like career development activities. Okay, one more question. What about students who graduate early during the school year? That is a very good question. So we do have several youth that graduate at different times during the school year. So like typically we'll have youth that like have winter graduation in December. And so those youth, once they graduate, are not able to take advantage of the academic stipend because that's based off of attendance. So if they're not going to school, we don't have attendance. They're still able to utilize mini mall services. And then at the end of the year is when we process those diploma payments. Okay. Does anybody have any other questions? I know we had several in the chat. Graduation's always a hot topic, so.
Right.
I have a
Hmm.
question.
So is there any other questions?
I have a question. Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. So my question is for those kiddos that might need help paying for like recovery programs, is there any help with that, or are they just supposed to use the funding that they get monthly?
Yeah, we no longer have any sort of like bill assistance anymore. So yeah, they would have to budget it in their academic stipend to be able to use that, to be able to
Okay.
that kind of stuff.
And then my second thing is I'm a little concerned about this new attendance system. I obviously don't know what it looks like, but
Mhm.
for my school, I usually have about 100 plus kiddos, and I actually really struggled in general with the printout. And I know like my liaisons or my people that I have at YOTO really supported me, and we had a system in place that really worked for me. So I just want to put that out there. I'm a little concerned about this and if that's just going to create more work for me or if it's going to make it easier. So just putting that out there.
Jessica, can I take this one?
Sure, yes.
We are not planning on having the larger schools use the new system this year because we really want to see how it plays out with some of the smaller schools. Our goal probably for next year is to ask that we have 2 liaisons for the schools that have a large amount of youth. So we're still working on all of that. But for now, you can plan on just giving us attendance the way you have, because I know you have a lot of youth. So we appreciate you doing that, because even with the old system, I know it takes a lot of time when you have 100 or more kids. So stay tuned. But for this year, I don't think we're planning on having a school as large as yours use the system in the portal just yet.
Thank you.
Thank you. That was a good question. All right. We are excited for that stipend integration project. We do want all of our communication to be in the portal, and that is going to allow the youth, the liaison, and us to see where their stipend is in the process. So it is going to tell us like, oh, the youth submitted the form, the youth, we're waiting for attendance confirmation, the check has been printed, it's heading to your school. So things like that, it's going to be able to give us that information. So we're excited about it. So it's coming. Your PCs will talk to you if you are welcome or willing to be part of our pilot program. All right. Well, if that is it, let me stop recording.